Howdy, it's TUBALCAIN again, and this time I'm a happy man, and this is just a little show and tell today. Yesterday I went shopping, and I don't mean at Walmart. I went to a machine shop that ran an ad on Craigslist. They're going out of business, and everything was for sale, so there I went for a couple hours, and I just had a ball talking to the guys and looking over what they had, and I managed to part with a couple $100, but you know, I was thinking, if somebody said, Mr. Cain, here's $1,000. Do you want to go to Neiman Marcus, and buy anything you want for $1,000? Or you got your choice here. Or $50 in cash, and you can go to flea markets or garage sales. I would go for the $50 any day of the week. Forget the $1,000. So let's take a look at these items here one at a time. Have you noticed that sometimes on YouTube there's people that they do what they call an unboxing? So they buy something at Best Buy. For instance, they might buy an Xbox. I'm not sure what an Xbox is. I think it's a game. But they buy an Xbox and then they proceed to bring it home and open it up piece by piece. You know, well, that's real exciting. You know, but so this is my version of unboxing. One other thing before I start here. Some of you are leaving me comments, and I love the comments, especially when they're favorable, but if the comment has a link in it, or an email or something like that, it automatically goes to the junk box or the spam box on that video. Now, if I happen to be looking through my own video and I go into there, then I can look at them and release them for public view. But I don't know why that happens with a link on it. So just be aware of that sometimes you may send me something and I don't get it, especially if it's on an older video that's 3 years old. I might not run into those for a whole year or maybe never run into them. So keep that in mind. Okay, I bought about 5 or 6 things here, and this was a wonderful old machine shop, mainly screw machines, Brown and Sharp automatics, and they had thousands and thousands of pieces of tooling, and most everything they had was old. But the man's father also was kind of like me and some of you guys out there, that he lived in Chicago and he went to flea markets all the time, and every Sunday he went to Maxwell Street. Now, some of you old-timers know what the Maxwell Street Market was. I think it's no longer there. They probably ran a freeway through there or something, or did an urban renewal. But it was a place where you could find a little bit of everything. But okay, here's the first thing that I bought. You know, I've been doing some videos with rotary tables. Maybe you didn't see them yet, but I bought this very small rotary table here, and I guess you'd call it a rotary table. Maybe, you know, it's not one where you crank it or anything, but it's not even quite 6 inches. It's got T-slots in it, no name on it. I have no idea what brand it is, but it's more of an indexing type of deal. Pull the pin, and then there are 12 holes here to index it. Also, protractor here from 0 to 180 degrees. It goes halfway around. That's what the bottom looks like. And I'll just have to clamp that onto the milling machine table and mount my small work on there, and I will use this in an upcoming video, but I thought that's really neat. And I had to go about $20 on it too. And it came with this little chuck here. This little 3-jaw chuck was mounted on there. The hole goes all the way through. That's how it was done up. And the guy says, you know, we got several of those small chucks here if you want an extra one. Well, of course I did. The only thing is, I said, do you have any of the chucks that do not have the reverse jaws? And he said no. So there were 3 or 4 of these, but they all had the same kind of jaws. But that looks like it's about a 2-inch 3-jaw chuck. Yeah. And there is a name on there. It says Sun. Never heard of it, but kind of cute. Now this I already cleaned up, which it was kind of a mess, kind of like what this is. They used regular oil, cutting oil in that shop, so everything was covered. But I tell you, it was a step back into time. I just had a heck of I'm going back. I'm going back. And the thing is, they've already run the ad for several months, so some of the things that I wanted were on my want list were already gone. Okay, next item. This is a clipper belt lacer, and yes, they still had some flat belts in that shop. And this is in real nice shape. The handles are missing, or the knobs. There was some kind of knob on there on both sides. Those are missing, but other than that, everything was indoors, so there's no rust. And this is a clipper, and it's a number 3. Goes up to 6 inches. Now, in several of my videos, you've seen me do belt lacing, and I used this type of lacer that is held in a regular bench vise. You've seen me do that. This really isn't any different. And this lacing here, if you don't know what lacing is, that did not come in the kit yesterday, but of course the lacing goes right into here. This is not the original pin. The pin was missing. I think it hung by this ring. So the lacing went in there, and then the belt went right across here. There's some sharp points here, and I think that was to help hold the belt in place to keep it from shifting. And once you get the belt in place and the lacing in there, then you could bring this thing up into different positions. And then down like this you went, and that pinched the clipping on. Pinched it on. If you look at it from the side, this is the kind they use for threshing machines and so on because it's so wide. It's probably more of a farm item than what it is a machine shop item, but back here it's rather intricate too. That moves into different positions. All cast iron. That needs a little oil on it maybe. But some of you out there have seen these and know what they are and may find it of interest, so that was a nice thing. Also, I think I paid 20 or 25 for this. Not too much. I'd have paid twice that. I just like old stuff like this, even if I never use it. And yes, I am a bit of a pack rat, but I also am able to throw things out. Or resell them or get rid of them. I bought this at a tool show recently. That was not from that shop that I just talked about, but I've been wanting this for some time, and it's called Mechanical Engineer's Handbook. It's from 1951, but I think, and this is the 5th edition, so, and the man's name was Marx. That's where they get the Marx Handbook. And 1951, like I said, there's a table of contents. It's very similar to Machinery's Handbook. A lot of mathematical tables in there. And let's see, there's a total of 295,000 copies of this that have been printed as of 1951, so there's still plenty of these out here for you guys that like some good bedside reading. But you got everything in here you could possibly think of. There's pictures, there's any subject that might relate to mechanical things or machine shop is in this book, so that's kind of a neat thing. Well, actually, it's not something you're going to read in bed. It's a reference item, but it's pretty awesome. So keep your eyes open for a Marx Handbook if you ever see one of these in your travels. Good reference book. The Wilton company makes cake pans, but that's not this Wilton company. This company made vises. You're all familiar with Wilton quality vises. I think they made cheaper ones too, but they made industrial quality ones. But this is a ball vise, or a portion of a vise, and they made all different versions of these. And you can put a vise or just about anything you can think of on the end of there. And by loosening this, then you can move it into any position you want. I think you've seen these. Carvers use these too. There's no vise, just the base. Cast iron base. Yeah, I wasted $10 on that. But what I bought this for really was to hold my camera for these videos that I made. So I'll make an adapter here, and I don't know what I'll do down here, but this is a good way to hold a camera and adjust it any way you want it, and then it locks very tight. It's not some flimsy little plastic thing like what you normally see in the box store. So that's pretty neat. And what I've also been using for the camera, if some of you wonder how I hold my camera, this is part of my sky hook, but I use the Noga type indicator holders also hold the camera on here, and that allows me to position it in virtually any position, lacking a little rigidity here because of the length, but it has served me quite well. But I'll see what I can do with the Wilton holder here. I hope I'm not rambling too much. Some of you younger guys out there probably don't know what screw machines are, but they're a type of automatic turret lathe, or maybe you don't know what a turret lathe is, but they had hundreds and hundreds and maybe 1,000 pieces of tooling, and that's not including what they already had in their setups there. And I bought this. This is a knurler, and I've been looking for one of these for a long time, and I do not like the standard knurler that you hold in a tool post, you know, the Armstrong type. I never did like those. They put too much pressure on the cross slide and all, on screws and all of that. But this type of knurler, if you have never seen one, was held in the tailstock type turret, and the work, as a matter of fact, this has a knurl on it, was fed into here like this. So there wasn't any pressure on anything, and it could go all the way through the spindle out here. That's all hollow. And they had those there in many sizes. That was $25. This is a Brown and Sharp, and they came in many different sizes. And the rollers, can you see the knurling rollers? They, you know what, I should have put this on one of my What Is It videos. But these can be moved in and out, and they can be rotated. You can see that they're set at an angle now. And I used these when I was in my prime, when I worked in a shop on turret lathes, and we were making fishing motors. You call them trolling motors now. But I'm going to get this set up. I hope that it's successful, and it'll be held like that in my Loris type holder. I'm going to turn around and put that in the lathe here and give you another shot of how I intend to use it. I've got it mounted in the closing lathe here on the Loris size B, and it's just held in a tool holder here. I got it tilted so you can see what I'm doing and just a sample of work. And the idea is run the lathe probably at a medium speed, because they run those machines pretty fast. They always use these under a flood of oil though. A flood of oil or coolant. And the tailstock, if it was in a tailstock, just was fed in like this and then back out, and you ended up with a perfect knurl every time if you had that set right and they were sharp. Here I, of course, will have to move the carriage in, and I hope that'll work. I think it will. I'll try it on some samples, and eventually you might see me using it if it's successful. If not, I'll never talk about it again. You know what? You've seen this Heinrich drill jig in my other videos, and if you haven't seen it in use, go find the video that says how to drill a cross hole, because that's what they're for. Now, since I already had one of these are quite expensive new. I don't know why, but I saw one there, and I bought it. And that's what it looks like when it's got the stop in there. The knob was missing, but I found the knob here in my junk drawer, so I got a knob on it already. And I don't know what they had this set up for, but it's in remarkably good condition. I may have to change the bushings, but I said, well, I don't have any drill bushings, so I don't know if you guys know what drill bushings are, but I said, give me a handful of those, and he did. And I might have to make an adapter to fit in there. And I wanted fractional sizes, but I think I got letter and number and everything you can think of in there. But you know, those I think are probably about 10 or 15 a pop, because they're hardened steel. And looking on the other one here, there were always extra bushings or sleeves to hold the different size bushings to go in here. So I might have something here that I can use on my new one. But had to have this. Heinrich makes really neat vises too. I got a couple of them behind me, but I think I've shown them already. They don't use a screw, they just slide, and then the tightening operation is, it's a cam. I'm not sure what it is because I never took one of these apart. But there it is. See, it's a V-block. And here's the final item. It's a rotary table. Now, the man said he sold 3 or 4 other rotary tables. Somebody beat me to them. This one is 8 inches. Everything was real dirty like this. Now, I only paid 20 bucks for that, and maybe that was too much because there's something missing here. I don't see the name on this, but I think it's a palmgren. I believe I recognize the shape of the knobs here, but somebody out there can tell me for sure. I bet it half of the month's rent that this is probably a palmgren. But flipping it over, they didn't even know they had it. I kind of dug it out for them. Half of it is missing, or the lower, here's a dovetail. There was another portion of the table that you would have clamped onto your milling machine table, and a screw going through here, similar to what you see here, another crank here. And that's how that worked. And so some way or another I'll make a new base on this if I ever get around to it. Maybe I'll mill this off and drill some holes here or something. I'm not sure what I'll do, but it was kind of locked up. He said you'll have to free it up, as it wouldn't move. Well, it didn't take me long before I had it freed up. You can see it turning here. And there's a protractor that goes clear around here. Needs to be cleaned. And as soon as this video is over, that's my next project. Well, I'm still excited about it. These appear to be the table locks. There's one on each side. And you know what? I wonder if that came from Maxwell Street at one time. Alright, let me know if you like this type of thing. If so, I'll put more videos. I notice a lot of men are doing this. They're buying tools or whatever, and then they're having a little bit of a show and tell. So that's what this is. If there's no interest, I will immediately delete this video. So maybe it's a temporary one. Okay, this is TUBALCAIN saying so long for now.